Once upon a time, in a small, bustling town, there lived a man named John. John was a hardworking individual who diligently saved every penny he could. He had a modest bank account that he relied on to secure his family's future. Despite his careful management, he noticed that his account balance was never quite as high as he thought it should be. Though his savings increased, they never grew as much as he assumed. Years went by, and John continued to save and work hard, but his financial situation never seemed to reach the level he anticipated. He felt frustrated and puzzled. No matter how much he tried to cut back on expenses and save more, the results were always disappointing. It was as if his money was slipping through his fingers without his knowing. One day, John decided to take a closer look at his bank statements. He spent hours poring over the numbers, and finally, he found a pattern. Small, consistent withdrawals that he couldn't explain. These withdrawals had been happening for years, and they added up to a significant sum. Determined to get to the bottom of this mystery, John went to the bank and spoke with the manager. After a thorough investigation, it was discovered that a bank teller had been slowly embezzling money from John's account. This teller, whom John had trusted, had been quietly siphoning off funds for years, impacting John's ability to save as much as he should have. John's initial reaction was one of anger and frustration. How could someone he trusted be stealing from him? He was furious at the bank teller for undermining his hard work and dedication. Now imagine if you were John in this scenario. You'd be mad at that bank teller, wouldn't you? You'd feel betrayed and upset that someone had been quietly stealing from your hard-earned savings. But now consider this. In the context of your child's future and your home life, you are that bank teller. The account you've been robbing is your child's ability to thrive in life. By not focusing on developing their leadership skills and potential, you are inadvertently siphoning away opportunities for their growth and success now and in the future. Hi, I'm Alan Nelson. And this story, this made-up fable, really has a lot of truth to it. I've been a leadership professor for most of my life. And when I wasn't teaching and studying about leadership, I was actually leading. Since 2005, I've been investing a majority of my life in young leaders. That's because if you want to make the greatest impact on leaders, you need to get to them while they're moldable, not moldy. And yet, as I've been studying that, I've also realized that a parent's influence in the life of their child has a lot of ability to train them on social influence. Social influence is the DNA, the bedrock of what leadership is all about. When a child lacks social influence, they lack a lot of the resources that they need to thrive in life. So you have it within your potential, and yet most parents don't realize that, and thus they lose that. They steal from themselves, and they actually steal from their own child. Let me give you just a quick overview, a quick seminar on some of the things that are symptomatic of low influence. The first of these 7 symptoms or side effects of low social influence is that your child is more apt to be bullied. Research shows that about 28% of grades 6 through 8 students will get bullied. You see, what leadership skills do is they elevate the social status of a child. Bullies almost always pick on a victim child, a child that lacks social status, because a bully ultimately wants power. They want to be in charge. And so by elevating your child's awareness of social structures and elevating their own social status, you'll take them out of that group that is most likely to be bullied. A second symptom of low influence is your child will not do as well in school academically and socially. I know that sounds amazing, but again, the statistics show that leadership training improves social-emotional competencies. And it is social-emotional competencies that are directly related to how students do academically and socially in school. So obviously we want the best for our children, but when we don't elevate their social-emotional abilities, then they will suffer. A third symptom of low influence is your child will lack social confidence. You see, leadership skills increase courage among peers because a child or youth learn how to head up projects. They learn how to put together a team. They learn how to listen. They learn how to handle conflict well. And so by elevating their familiarity by overseeing teams, you'll also elevate their social confidence. A fourth symptom of low influence is your strong-willed teen will more likely rebel. A lot of people wonder why so many teens rebel, especially in our Western culture. And a lot of that has to do with how we as parents infantilize them. We still treat them like children, even though in many ways, physically and psychologically, they see themselves as adults. So historically, people reached adulthood around the age of 13, 14, 15. But now because of modern educational needs, we've kept our kids home longer. And the problem is we often still treat them like kids. But when we teach them how to lead, especially those who are natural leaders, who tend to be more strong-willed, more opinionated, have an idea for themselves, they feel empowered. And you teach them to do this in a positive way, in a constructive way. A fifth symptom of low influence is your child stands less of a chance to attend a top-tier university. What we've noticed over the last 10 to 20 years as we've talked to college admission counselors is that more and more high GPA and perfect SAT score students are not getting into their schools of choice, and it dumbfounds the parents. But you see, these universities are looking for more than just smart students. They want to see the well-rounded applicant, and they're also looking for leadership experience. So one of the best things you can do if you're interested in your child being attracted by a top-tier university is to make sure that they have leadership training under their belt. A sixth symptom of low influence is that ultimately your child will make less money. Again, the research tells us that non-leaders make only 1/2 to 2/3 as much as their bosses. In fact, if you think about it, at the rate of $50,000 difference a year, that's $500,000 in 10 years. And a seventh symptom or side effect of low influence is your child will enjoy their job and life less. Again, the research says that 69% of bosses are more satisfied at work compared to only 48% of non-supervisors. In addition to that, 84% of bosses describe themselves as very satisfied with their family compared to only 74% of the workers. So you're thinking, why would any parent want these things for their child? Well, that's a great question. But here's my point. You don't have to lose what is within your reach. But you see, most parents are not trained in how to teach their child how to lead. That's why over the last several years, we have invested in the research that helps us not only identify leadership talent of the very young, but we've also learned how to teach adults to train their children how to lead. So if your child is between the ages of 3 and 18, we want to introduce you to Kid Lead Academy. Kid Lead Academy is an online course that you can take in 7 hours or less. It consists of 28 video lessons, short 10 to 30-minute segments, understanding what leadership is, how to teach your children about it. It teaches you how to identify leadership talent so that you can appropriately train them at their level of aptitude. It also gives you very pragmatic skills, how to coach them, how to take them through different scenarios and activities that are project-based that actually show them the skills of being in charge. Plus, this course will actually also give you curriculum, project-based curriculum that is executive caliber but is age appropriate. Kid Lead Academy trains parents how to develop their child's leadership potential. It will set your child up to succeed by elevating their social influence and teaching them and helping them understand how power and influence work in everyday life. If you want more information, please go to kidlead.com. That's K-I-D as in David, L-E-A-D as in David.com. We hope to see you there.